Good morning, friends. So, yesterday we talked about spherical mirrors and we went through some definitions. So, let me note down the definitions which we had gone through. If you remember, we had a concave mirror whose reflecting surface is on the inner side. This is the reflecting surface. We have a concave mirror whose reflecting surface is on the outer side. So, we have the concave mirror and we have a convex mirror. These two mirrors are spherical mirrors. Okay. In yesterday's lecture, what did we see? Some definitions. One was pole. The geometric center of the mirror is called the pole. Okay. Then we had center of curvature. So these are definitions you should remember. The geometric center of the mirror is called the pole. It lies on the mirror. Center of curvature. The center of the imaginary sphere from which the mirror is cut is called the center of curvature. Principal axis. The imaginary line passing through the center of curvature and the pole is called the principal axis. Radius of curvature. What is radius of curvature? The distance between the center of curvature and the pole. The distance between the center of curvature and the pole is called radius of curvature R. The next definition was focus. Now focus has got two different definitions for both the mirrors. So what is the definition of focus for the concave mirror? When rays of light parallel to the principal axis, when rays of light parallel to the principal axis strike a mirror, then they all meet at a point. Okay, they all meet at a point. This point is called the focus of a concave mirror. What is the definition again? When rays of light parallel to the principal axis strike a concave mirror, then after reflection they all pass through a point which is called the focus. For the convex mirror, rays of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection appear to pass through a point. They don't pass through a point, appear to pass through a point is called the focus of a convex mirror. So this definition focus is separate for both the mirrors. Again, rays of light parallel to the principal axis after reflecting from the concave mirror pass through a point which is called a focus, and rays of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection from a convex mirror appear to pass through a point is called the focus. Okay, then we have the focal length. What is focal length? F. The distance between the focus and the pole is called the focal length. The distance between the focus and the pole is called the focal length. And the last one is aperture. So, the diameter of the mirror is called the aperture. Aperture means the opening through which light can fall on the mirror. So, the opening, the definition is, what is the definition of aperture? The diameter of the mirror is called the aperture. And in simpler terms, to understand it, how much light can fall on the mirror depends upon the opening. That opening is called the aperture. So these are the different definitions for the spherical mirrors. Now comes the exciting part. We have to learn what happens when an object is placed in front of a concave or a convex mirror. Now in the previous lecture you saw, when you place an object in front of a plane mirror, okay, when you place an object in front of a plane mirror, you get the image. And what were the characteristics of that image? Yes, it was erect and virtual, of the same size. The distance between the image and the mirror is equal to the distance between the object and the mirror, and it was laterally inverted, means left becomes right and right hand becomes the left. But in the case of a spherical mirror, things change. And how do things change? According to the position. Okay. Now before we go to this again, let us go back to our plane mirror. Okay, I am just taking you back to the plane mirror just for comparison's sake. We have got a plane mirror, we have got an object. So the object forms an image. Okay, I am not going to draw it again, but just showing you the object forms an image of the same size. Okay, the object forms an image of the same size. Now you take this object far from the mirror or bring it nearer to the mirror. What is the only thing which is going to change? When this object is brought near the plane mirror, then the image will come near. If you bring it near, the image will come near. Suppose you have got this object and the image. You bring the object near, the image comes near or goes far. So distance remains the same. Okay? But the remaining things, that it always remains erect and virtual. You can see the head remains up, the head remains up. Always erect and virtual. Always of the same size, but laterally inverted. So things are not changing here. But in a spherical mirror, when you change the distance of the object, very interesting things happen to the image. So that is what we are going to study today. Today we are going to study the characteristics of the image in a spherical mirror, the concave mirror. We have to look at 6 different cases. Okay? But you see here, this plane mirror is actually a dull world. Why a dull world? We got an object in front of a plane mirror. The image is the same size of the object. It is virtual and erect and laterally inverted. And if you bring the object near, the image comes near. Take the object far, the image goes far. But nothing exciting other than that. In a spherical mirror, the world totally changes. How you are going to perceive the world, how you are going to see the world through the mirror. Which mirror? Spherical mirror is very important. Okay? So this is the plane mirror. Now before we go to the spherical mirror, let us understand again how things work in a spherical mirror. Now I told you in the previous thing when we did the plane mirror, say this is the pole P, the principal axis and center of curvature. Okay, so what we have done here, the radius of curvature R. So the distance between the pole and the center of curvature is radius of curvature. Now I place my object. So I can place my object anywhere. But what we can see first things, the mathematics part, we have learned something called radius of curvature. So what is the radius of curvature? It is distance between the pole and the center of curvature. This is the R. This distance is called R, radius of curvature, and this distance is called focal length. The distance between pole and focus is called focal length. Distance between pole and center of curvature is called radius of curvature. And there is a relationship between the two, that the radius of curvature is almost twice the focal length. Means if the focal length is 5 centimeter, radius of curvature will be 10 centimeter. Okay? Are you following what I am trying to tell you here? So we have got the radius of curvature. So the focal length is, you can say, half of radius of curvature, or radius of curvature is twice the focal length. So in this mirror, exactly somewhere in the center, we will have the focus. Okay? Now the things, like I told you, Suppose I draw an object, and we discussed this before during the plane mirror. What did I tell you? The object may be an extended source of light, or it is not a point. The object is quite big. So from every point, infinite rays of light come out, and there are infinite points. So like I told you in the previous lecture also, if we try to draw all the lines, it becomes very, very complex. So what are we going to do? We are only going to draw two rays. But which two rays are we going to draw? We have to decide. So first we will see the rules. Okay? So what is the rule number 1? Rule number 1 is a ray of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection will pass through the, can you guess? Yes, will pass through the focus. This is rule number 1. For which mirror? This is the concave mirror, remember. So first we understand the rules. What are the rules again? To draw the images. To draw the images, the first rule, a ray of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection will pass through the focus. That is rule number 1. Rule number 2, a ray of light which passes through the focus. A ray of light which passes through the focus after reflection will become parallel to the principal axis. So I hope you are following the two rules. Have you followed the two rules very clearly? Understood it? The rule for the mirrors now, because you want to draw the image, is the rule for the mirror. Rule number 1, the ray of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection will pass through the focus. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, a ray of light passing through the focus after reflection will become parallel. And rule number 3, a ray of light passing through the center of curvature, after reflection will go back to the same path. And this I did in yesterday's lecture. The previous lecture I told you why this happens. Because the center of the sphere and the tangent, they all are perpendicular. So the ray of light passing through the center of curvature will go back to the center of curvature. So these are the 3 rules you have to understand for the concave mirror. Is it clear? Rule number 1, a ray of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection will pass through the focus. Ray of light passing through the focus after reflection from a concave mirror will become parallel to the principal axis. And rule number 3, a ray of light passing through the center of curvature will retrace the path, go back the same way. But this was for which one? Concave. Now let us see what happens to the convex. Okay, center of curvature pole, and like I told you, focus is almost lying exactly between the two. So we'll draw it here. Now here are the rules again. The same rules, we go again. Rule number 1, a ray of light parallel to the principal axis. A ray of light parallel to the, see here, the ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus. Here, the ray of light parallel to the principal axis will reflect and go back like this, but it appears to pass through the focus. See, the words change. Here the ray of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection appears to pass through the focus. See, it is hitting, it is diverging. Here they are coming into a one point, here they are diverging outside. So what is the rule for a convex mirror? A ray of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection from a convex mirror will appear to pass through the focus. Rule number 2, a ray of light which appears to pass through the focal point. Okay? This ray of light is directed towards the focal point. After reflection will become parallel to the principal axis. Here, the ray of light actually passes to the focal point and after reflection becomes parallel. Here the ray of light appears to pass to the focal point but after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. And the case number 3. What is the case number 3? A ray of light, I'll draw from here, which appears to pass through the center of curvature. A ray of light which appears to pass through the center of curvature will retrace its own path. So this is the difference between the concave and the convex mirror. Here the rays of light actually meet in front of the mirror, so this is the real image. Means I can put a screen here to catch the image. Here things happen behind the mirror and I cannot put a screen here to catch any image because if I go behind it there will be nothing seen. So again we use the word real. Why the word real? The rays of light actually meet at a point and if I put a screen here I can catch the image. So the concave makes a real image but in convex it's the virtual image behind the mirror. So these are the rules. Okay. Let us recap once again. What did we see? We saw the reflection in a plane mirror. We understood how concave and convex mirrors are made. We saw the definitions regarding the spherical mirrors. Okay, the definitions. We saw what is radius of curvature. We saw the focal length and the relation is it's almost half of the focal length. Now to understand the exciting world and the different type of images, what are the rules we'll remember again? A ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus. In a concave mirror, the ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus. In a convex mirror, the ray of light parallel to the principal axis appears to pass through the focus. Appears to pass. Here the rule number 2. A ray of light passing through the focus after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. Here, the ray of light which appears to pass through the focus after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. Rule number 3. A ray of light passing through center of curvature will go back to the same path. Here, the ray of light which appears to pass through the center of curvature will go back the same path. So, with the help of these 3 rules, we are now going to do our diagrams and understand the different characteristics of the image. Now, these questions are asked for 2 or 3 marks. Okay, how many marks they are asked for? 2 or 3 marks. Now, we will first take the case of the concave. Okay, concave. Now, you will be told to draw. So, how will you draw first? See the technique, how to draw it. You can first draw a straight line. Okay, for the principal axis, I'll tell you the technique how to draw this. First, draw a straight line. Okay, take a point somewhere and call it C, the center of curvature C. This is the technique. Draw a straight line, take a point C. Now, with the help of your rounder, yes, the rounder, you can draw a small arc of which radius you want. Okay, let us take, for this case, I am taking the radius to be 12 centimeter. Okay, so see again, if radius is 12 centimeter, then the focal length will be 6 centimeter, halfway. So this is how you draw. Okay, in the drawing they will not ask you to draw exactly, but how you will draw, the technique I am telling you. Draw a straight line, take a point C anywhere on the line. Now, taking the radius 12 centimeter, so in the rounder, taking 12 centimeter, draw an arc of 12 centimeter. So the arc you will draw 12 centimeter. Okay? And then this point where you get, name it P. So what you will draw, you will take a rounder, 3 lines up and 3 lines down, you will draw an arc. Done? Now this is 12 centimeter. So at 6 centimeter, you will draw your F. Okay, so this is how things are done. So have you understood what you have to do? Draw a straight line, take a radius, first draw a straight line, take a point called center of curvature. With that radius, draw an arc, call this point P, then check, this is exactly 12, and halfway 12 at 6 centimeter, draw your F. Now repeat this activity 6 times. Why 6 times? We'll see. Because there are 6 conditions possible. Okay? We are going to do 6 conditions. So, do the same thing, draw the same thing 6 different times. I have done only once over here, but in your page, draw the same thing, line the arc 6 different times. Do it. Okay? Once you are done, then we see the condition. Condition 1. We put the object at infinity. Now, infinity means very, very far, but here we'll see how we work with infinity. Okay, that is case number 1. Where do you put the object? Where do you put the object? This is the mirror. The object is very, very far at infinity. Case number 1. Case number 2. We put it beyond C. Means the center of curvature is there somewhere after C, somewhere not at infinity, but beyond C, somewhere far away, here somewhere, say here. We'll keep the object beyond C. Case number 3. Bring the object at C, means you bring the object here at C. Case number 4. Write the case below. Case number 4. We'll put it between C and F. So case number 1 is where? At infinity. Case number 2 somewhere beyond C. Case number 3 exactly at C. So we are bringing the object nearer. Can you see? It was first at infinity. We brought it beyond C. Then we brought it at C. Then we brought it between C and F. Then 5th case, bring it at F. So you brought it at F. And 6th case, between F and P. So these are the 6 cases we are going to do. That is why I told you, draw this diagram 6 times. Okay, the technique you understood. Draw a straight line, take a point C, radius 12 centimeter, draw an arc, call this point P, and between it 6 centimeter, draw F. Now repeat this 6 times because we've got 6 things to do. There are 6 different diagrams we have to make. And these diagrams will use these rules. Now the book may follow different methods, but I'll give you my own here and we'll get the same kind of result. Okay? So, now at infinity. Okay. So first case is at infinity. What happens at infinity? Suppose you take the sun. The sun is round in shape and very, very far away. It gives out light in all directions. All directions, right? The sun, if you say the sun is very far away, it gives light in all directions. But when you open the small space in the window, you know the sunbeams are coming inside. What do you feel? That all the rays of light are parallel. So what do we consider? We consider at infinity means the light source is so far away that the rays become parallel. Okay? So, in the case of infinity, all rays are parallel to the principal axis. So when they are parallel to the principal axis, what is the rule? All rays of light parallel to the principal axis, after reflection, will pass through which point? Will pass through the focus. Right? I hope you can see clearly. Yes. They all pass through the focus. So, we have to do 4 things here. First, the position. When is the image formed? Image is formed at focus. The image is formed at focus. Now, because it is formed in front of a mirror and be caught on the screen, it is real and inverted. Real and inverted. You will try it out. Draw lines parallel and pass through the focus. That's it. Real and inverted. And all meet at a point, so the image is highly diminished. Means very, very small. The image formed is very, very, very small. It is a highly diminished image. So you draw the lines parallel, they all pass through the focus. So when the object is put at infinity, When the object it is infinity, the image is formed at focus. It is real and inverted. Why it is real? Because it is formed in front of the mirror, so it is real, and real is always inverted, upside down, and it is highly diminished. It's very, very small. Okay? Now, very interesting case here is you always do not draw lines parallel like this only. There is one other way to draw lines parallel. Okay? Because here what I did it parallel, okay, but it is not necessary that the rays are parallel to the principal axis. The rays can be parallel like this also. They are coming from infinity. What happens here? These are also parallel. Okay? But they are not at infinity. But can you see this focus? We had a focus here. The image will be formed somewhere on the focal plane only. So if it is parallel to the principal axis, they are all will meet at the focus. If they are parallel but not parallel to principal axis, it will meet at some other point on the focal plane. This is called the focal plane, but this remains. So here it is not at focus now, but it is on the focal plane. But still, it is in front of the mirror, so it is real and inverted and highly diminished. So this is the case number 1. We did the first diagram. Okay, could you draw it? Now I am going to use the same one, but you can move to your diagram number 2. I told you to draw 6, so now move to the second one. Let's move on to the second one. And see that the measures are almost accurate. Okay? So now you move to your second diagram. What is the second case we took? Beyond C. So beyond C, I'll keep somewhere over here. Beyond C. Follow the rules. Draw a line parallel to the principal axis, and one which is parallel to the principal axis should pass through the focus. So it is passing through the focus. Rule number 2. Draw a line passing through the focus after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. Okay? This is not drawn accurately, but if you draw it, you will get it properly. Draw a line parallel, passes through the focus. Okay, I'll try to draw it a little better. But what are the rules we follow? The same rules, no change. Ray which is parallel will pass through the focus, and passing through the focus become parallel, and you will get an image something like this. Okay, so what do you see in the second case? First thing, when the object is beyond C, the image is formed where? Between C and F. You can see this. This is something like backward. When the object was at infinity, the image was formed at F. When the object is beyond C, the image is formed between C and F. Can you see? Between C and F. So this is, object is here, the image formed is between C and F. Here you can put a screen and catch the images in front of the mirror, so it is real, and you can see it is inverted. The head has come down, inverted. And you can see this is bigger and this is smaller, so it is not highly diminished, but it is diminished. Means it has become smaller in size. So, what will the question be asked to you? With the help of a diagram, state the characteristics of the image when an object is placed beyond C of the concave mirror. Okay? The question is of 2 or 3 marks. With the help of a diagram, you can draw the diagram, means you can take your own radius and half of the radius, the focal length, your choice. But what is the question? With the help of a diagram, state the characteristics of the image when an object is placed beyond C of a concave mirror. So you will draw this diagram and write down the image is between C and F. It is real and inverted, and it is diminished. Okay? So this was the second case. Now we go to the third case. The third case. Okay? So go to the third diagram now, which you have drawn in your book. Move to the third one. Okay. Where is the third case? At C. Means we put the object exactly at C. Okay? Follow the rules. Draw parallel. Pass through F. Rule number 2. Through F. Make it parallel. Okay, now I am not getting it perfectly, but it should come exactly over here. Okay, the image should be formed exactly at C. Now that does not actually happen when you try to draw it in your book. If you can do it excellent, perfect, what do? You put the object at C, draw a line parallel and always indicate the arrow, sir. The arrow shows this line is falling on the mirror after reflection going through here. This line is passing through the focus after reflection is reflected back. So if you draw the line parallel, pass through focus, draw the line passing through focus, becomes parallel, it should meet at C. So in the third case, the image is formed at C. Again it is real and inverted, but this time it is not diminished, it is of the same size. Same size. It is at C, forms at C only. It is real and inverted in the same size. Now what is the trick I was going to tell you? This may not look very accurate to you. So what you do is, the trick here is, draw an object say 2 cm. At the same place draw the image also 2 cm. So draw the object and the image of 2 cm. Then draw this line straight and make this line touch here. Draw this line straight and make this line touch here. And wherever the two lines meet, there you put your point and write down F. Okay, because things may not be very accurate, but you can do that. Take 2 cm height and 2 cm image. Draw the line straight here and join this point here. Draw this line straight here, join this point here. Where they both meet, there you put the point and write F. In the exam you can do that, but actually it should be the other way around. Okay, so this is case number 3. When the object is at C, the image is also at C, real and inverted and the same size. Done? Now move to 4. Okay, we are going to go 4. Go to a diagram 4. I am using the same diagram, but you go to your 4th case. What is case number 4? Object is between C and F. So put the object between C and F. Now here in this case you can apply 2 rules. Okay, you can choose your rule. First rule is the same. Parallel passes through F. Second case passes through F, becomes parallel. Okay. Some books use this. Which case number 1? Between C and F, when you put your object, parallel, passes through F, parallel. What do some books do is, here it is not possible because it's very high, but from here they make the point pass through the C and they draw the line passing here. The mirror has to be very big and then it goes back the same path. Okay, so some books are using parallel, passing through F, parallel, and some books make the object go from C. This ray of light, it goes from C and goes back the own path, but you should get the same reflection here. What you can observe, where is the image formed this time? Check, this is C. So the image is formed where? C, beyond C. So when you put it between C and F, the image has become beyond C. So it is beyond C. In front of the mirror, so it is real and inverted, but the size has increased. So it is, you can call enlarged, some use enlarged and some say magnified. Means became bigger. So you can use the word enlarged. Right? So this is the case number 4. Now the case number 5. Again I will draw this. You go to the next diagram. Case number 5. Yes. where we are putting the object at. Now I have not done this exact scale, but you will do. What arc you draw 12, then exactly half of 12 you will take your f at 6. Okay. At f. Now we put the object at f. Okay. So the first rule you can follow. Which rule? Parallel and passes through f. But how will you make it pass through f? So it cannot pass through f. So what you will do? You will make it pass through c only. Goes through c and comes back through the same path. And this parallel passing through f. Now you will see these two rays have become parallel. Can you see they both have become parallel? Now when they become parallel, they will go on, they will never meet. One passing through C has gone back its own path, parallel to the principal axis passing through F, and they both have become parallel. Will they ever meet? No. They will never meet, so we will say they go and meet. They go and meet where? Very, very far away. How far away? At infinity. So here the image is formed at infinity. Can you see? When the object was at infinity, image was formed at F. When the image is at F, image is at infinity. Object here, image here. Object here, image here. Second case, beyond C. When we put the object beyond C, image was between C and F. Put the image between C and F. So as you bring your object near, the image is going far away. So it is real and inverted. Why real and inverted? It is at infinity, but still in front of the mirror. So it is real and inverted. And because it is very, very far away, it will be highly enlarged. Very, very big image. Highly enlarged. Okay? So we have done the fifth case, and now we move to the sixth case, the last one. The last case. In the last case, what is there? We are placing it between C and F and P, sorry. You bring the object between F and P. Okay? So here what will you do? You can do the same thing, but first thing we'll do is make it pass through C, goes back the own path. Okay? And second, if you make it parallel, it will pass through F. Now you can see these are diverging, they are going far apart. They are separating. One is passing through C, goes back the own path. Okay? And one passing through F, one parallel to the principal axis, passes through F. Now they both are going very far apart. They both are going very far apart. They will never be far apart. But if you trace it backwards, then they will meet here. So they will meet over here. Backward. So because the rays are going far away, now you trace them backward and they meet here. So this time, where is the image formed? It is formed beyond the mirror. Can you see? It is now behind the mirror. Beyond the mirror, no, we'll use the word behind the mirror. Now, because it is behind the mirror, it can be never caught on the screen. You cannot catch it on the screen. It is behind the mirror. So it is virtual. And it is erect now. You can see the head is up. So it is virtual and erect. So remember, real images are always inverted. Virtual images are always erect. And it is enlarged, you can see. Right? It is enlarged. So these are the six different cases which has given us an idea of how, when you change the position of the object, how the nature of the image also changes. Now we'll try to see. The world has become exciting. Yes? Okay. Now we have seen the rules here, we have seen how the different six cases we have drawn it, practiced it. Now comes the part, where do we use it? How do we use it? So that I am going to tell you in the next lecture. but you will try to now see around you, and whatever you have seen in your movies or where you have traveled to, how these 6 cases are used in everyday life. Okay, so you will try to find out now. Look at mirrors, look at objects near you wherever you travel to. This is one assignment I leave to you. And see where you can see the mirror is not plain mirror but having a slight curve. And because of that slight curve, what happens? There are many objects around you which make use of these principles. So I'm going to leave it to you to see how to use this, where they have been used. Okay? In the next lecture, I will give you my examples and let us see if our examples match. So in this lecture, we end here. So what have we done so far? I hope you have followed. Kindly see the lecture again and get it done. I end here. Thank you.